Oh, you hear my phone? You said, what's up, people? Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. I think you all can. Oh, this is just my orange juice. It's my orange juice. You don't drink your orange juice out of a champagne glass? I'm not sure why you don't do that. It's scientifically proven to make your orange juice healthier, actually. I'm not sure the exact science behind it, but I read it on the internet. And everybody knows that everything on the internet is true. Great White Shark, what's going on? Game guy, hope y'all are doing well. Edwin, this is a fresh. This is a freshie. This is new, Edwin. I say Edwina. Mix both your names together. My bad. Ruben Massagua, what's going on? Y'all just give me a second. I'm sharing this to make sure everybody gets the update. Hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all got some good questions for me today. Y'all know it was a crazy week last week. Woo. All the notification gang in the building. Y'all rare breed nowadays, man. Glory, what's up? What's up? How you been, fam? Hey, Glory, we covered that Jimmy Butler video. It'll be live today on YouTube at 6. But if you want to watch it before it hits, you can go to Rockfin. It's on there already. Just to let you know. I know you one of my NBA followers. Denny Trujillo? Is that Trujillo? No, Trujillo. It looked like a T, and you know I ain't got my glasses on. Probably should wear my glasses. I'm gonna be reading comments, but what's going on, people? What's going on? Just watch Fox 4-pin the narrative of the Portland protests that the Convo Couch is covering live. What do you mean? I mean, I got the Fox, and then I got the Convo Couch and the Portland protest, but I'm not sure what 4-pin the narrative means. You really gonna make me wear my glasses? I'm gonna consider it. So your Twitter has been confusing. Are you anti-mask or just talking about the hysteria behind it all? Actually, believe it or not, my Twitter has not really been all that confusing. I think people, depending on their predisposition when they read my comments, that's how they take it. Which, admittedly enough, probably petty of me to do, but I do that on purpose because, I don't know, it just kind of exposes one of the reasons why we can't get through each other to begin with. Because we always, we see things through our own lenses rather than just looking at statements subjectively. Because even within your question, you're like, oh, are you anti-mask or are you just talking about the hysteria? My tweet was specifically referring to the hysteria. But your lens begs you to ask, well, is he anti-mask? What is he saying? So the moral of the story is I answer your question whenever it gets started. Here we go again. What's going on? Man, I'll be saying hi to Glory before you say hi to... Oh, that's... Hold up.
Really?
Never mind. That's my wife. She be changing her name. Jedediah Jackson. Have you checked Kanye's BS rumor? Did he say Harriet Tubman? He said Harriet Tubman didn't actually free any slaves? Right. And the Civil War was just about states' rights. The right to own slaves. We'll give it about 2 more minutes. I know people are still crawling in here. Maddie Zubik. I hope I pronounced your name right. Jack said, Jack, don't be saying hello to Glory before you say what's up to Niko. Glory is not running this show. This is an MCSC production. Tired of Glory coming in here and taking all the attention away from us lowly MCSers out here, man. Steal your own thunder, Glory. Okay? Damn Glory, I come in here and just acting a whole fool. Just selfish. Glory always getting all the love, Danny. That's the problem. Nah, I'm just kidding. Glory's dope. That's why she gets all the love. She a different kind of smart, man. She's a kind of smart that you can't teach in school. That unfortunately also makes school mad boring. Excuse me? So you can't even spell. Lowercase g. Damn, Glory's a lowercase g. Can I get some more orange juice? After my wife gets me some more orange juice, we're gonna get started. Yes, please. No, she is not the CEO of MCSC Network. That is my wife being an asshole. Ellie JJ, what's up? How you gonna say hey Niko and Glory? What's Ellie? She's not doing the show, man. Y'all can't wait until after I get started to have y'all conversation with Glory. Y'all want to have it in the middle of Niko's AMA session. I ain't doing them no more. I'm not putting up with this malarkey. Okay? This disenfranchisement. I just... Y'all don't be... See, look. I'm not going to stand for these transgressions in my comment section. I'm about to start suspending everybody. Putting everybody in timeout. What's up, Nathan Daniel, Jack Sith? Tony watches closely. Glad you made it early. All right. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Hold up. After my wife changed my damn headband, or banner, headband. No, she's not going to change my headband. I like my headband. Are you telling me that Tony comes in here? Oh my God, Tony come in here. The first person he shout out is look at this. Is not. This is absolute. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus, boy. I'm about to stop. Glory, I'm about to put you in timeout. How I put Glory in time? All right, let's go ahead and get the show started. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream. Ask me anything, Mimosa Mondays, but we're just drinking orange juice. All right, there will be no alcohol consumed during this broadcast. I'm pretty sure everybody drinks their orange juice in a champagne glass, and if you don't drink your orange juice in a champagne glass, well, that's your fault, because it does make the orange juice taste better. I heard it actually increases the amount of calcium and vitamin D that your body absorbs when you drink your orange juice through a champagne glass. Who putting that where one goes, we all go? First of all, you mean where one gets thrown into a minivan that is unmarked after they get abducted by nameless police officers? We all get abducted? Is that what you mean by where one goes, we all go? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Anyway, you about to throw me off my damn... What was I doing? I was introducing myself. My name is Niko House. Today, we will be answering whatever questions you have on your mind. Maybe we can even talk about some politics this time, because we damn sure did get to a lot of them. We talked about everything last show, from Marvel to conspiracy theory to Glory. For some reason, she and my wife and Glory were trying to outshine me on my show. It's, pretty much the usual. And we talked about ADHD. I mean, we talked about everything. We had a great time, and I hope we can have a great time for this show as well. So as you all know, the priority, of course, has to be Super Chats. If people want to pay their good money to hear me give some bullshit answer to their very important question, then that's their prerogative, and we have to honor that here. Other than that, second priority is questions, and to be honest with you, probably questions from names I recognize. That's just my bias. What can I say? I like you people who be here all the time. Other than that, let's get started. So I want to go back to a question that was asked to me after I sipped my orange juice. That's some good OJ. Oh, what? Tony, Tony, can you try to encourage CC to get up with GFM for protective gear? Oh, the convo couch. Man, you using all these damn acronyms. I'm like, who the hell is all these people, bro? You sound like you're in a gang, Tony. How do you speak English? CC with the GFM and the OTG. I will let them know. Thank you. Well, we got what was the question I was asked? Hold on. I'm gonna find it. I won't find it. Where the hell did the question go? Somebody asked me a question I wanted to answer. Oh, Jedediah Jackson asked me earlier. He said, so your Twitter has been confusing to me. Are you anti-mask, or are you just talking about the hysteria behind it? And I answered it briefly, but I do want to address it again after I sip my orange juice. My wife gives me shit because I like ice in my orange juice, but like I work hard for my orange juice. I deserve ice in my orange. I live in Miami, y'all. We in the middle of a heat wave. I put ice in all my drinks. I put ice in my beer. Okay, I don't care. I want ice in my drinks. That just means you have to drink it fast enough so it doesn't get watered down. I be knowing. Anyway, so he said, I'm confusing, or my Twitter is confusing, because he can't figure out if I am anti-mask or simply calling out the hysteria. And my answer to Jedediah would be this. First, that is probably the question that is most pertinent to when discussing the problems with our discourse regarding any issue, especially COVID. Because the fact that you think that my statements are confusing on their face probably means that you're looking at it through a political lens. And it's not necessarily your fault. And I'm not saying that you're necessarily on the wrong side, but I'm saying that you're looking at it through a political lens. Because my tweets, both of them yesterday, were actually pretty clear. Let me see if I can find my tweets. Let me see if I can find them so I can read them back to you. You said I need to sip my orange juice. Okay. I mean, if you want me to sip my orange juice.
Someone said that's like your slogan. I work hard for my orange juice.
I do. I work very, very hard for my orange juice. You know, orange juice ain't cheap either. So he's referring to this tweet yesterday. I put 2 tweets. I said, honestly, the obsession over masks from all parties is kind of weird. And then I said that my wife put it perfectly. They want us obsessing over masks, so we don't obsess over the fact that they've basically done nothing substantive to help us during the pandemic. Now, on their face, and somebody could, give their opinion about this in the comment section, but on their face, those tweets are not confusing at all. They're very straightforward. The obsession over masks by all parties, all political parties, all individuals, whether they're political, no matter what their political ideology is, it's all kind of weird. The obsession is weird, and it's the obsession from everybody. Okay. And like I said, my wife said that we're obsessing over masks, or they want us obsessing over masks, so that we don't obsess over the fact that they haven't done anything for us. There's nothing confusing about that. There's nothing contentious about that. But depending on what side of the political fence you're on is the way you interpret it. Some people immediately was like, oh, but masks saves lives. And other people were like, but we don't even need masks. They'll kill us. I'm like, and none of y'all read my damn tweet. Clearly. Because I just said the obsession over the masks is what the problem is. Now, if someone was looking through an objective lens, which a lot of people did, thankfully, they probably wouldn't be watching the show if they weren't objective. A lot of people looked at it objectively and they either got the response correct or they asked the right question, which would be, well, what do you mean? What should we be obsessing over? Or they responded with, yeah, because there are solutions available. Yeah, because they failed us economically. Yes, because they put the onus of accountability on us so that they can abdicate themselves of any blame whatsoever for the things that go wrong because of the government's failure with this pandemic. But because of political lenses, because of how that just explains, once again, just demonstrates how hyper politicized the issues of masks and COVID overall has gotten. There was nothing confusing about those tweets. I'm not coming at you, Jedediah. I actually appreciate the question because I meant to readdress that today anyway. But that's the thing that's weird to me. Is like there was nothing confusing about that tweet, and yet a lot of people are confused about the tweet because they're trying to figure out which side of the political fence I'm leaning on regarding the issue. And even if I was leaning on a side regarding that issue, you would never know. Because it's not in that particular instance, when it comes to your health, it's not my business to tell you, which way you should be leaning politically and what's best for your life. But it is my job to clarify how the government is treating it and how the mainstream media is treating it. And that's exactly what I did. There was nothing to disagree with there. So, hope that answered your question. Appreciate it. Justin, is that Justin from Fayetteville? I hope so, man. If that is, man, what's good? I miss you too, dog. I was just talking about you to my wife the other day. That was super weird. That's super weird, as you call that. 96 JRG. What's up? Why aren't more progressives skeptical of the COVID news? They even support beating up people not wearing masks. They seem to support authoritarian policy now. So what's interesting is that Lucas Wagner, one of our researchers and contributors here on the MCSC Network, did a very good article discussing the imperialism on the left, which is, you know, it's entrenched in authoritarianism, right? It's progressive and freedom as long as you stop at our borders, because then once we start getting into other countries, depending on which progressive you ask, they're all about imperialism. They just like, you know, virtue signaling in a different way than the right does regarding the issue. So I would say that it's kind of similar to this, right? There are progressives who will sit there and use every imperialist talking point regarding Assad or regarding Iran, right? But then they'll be like, we want a strong anti-imperialist candidate. Except for when it's inconvenient to the narrative, because I didn't want to do a little bit more research and look 2 articles past the one that was posted first by the Washington Post, which is a damn propaganda outlet. I think the reason that progressives are not more skeptical of the COVID news, I wouldn't even say more skeptical. How about let's just say they don't scrutinize it as much, right? Because progressives are known to scrutinize the hell out of everything. That's just what we do. Except for when it comes to issues where somebody gets the moral, like where one side of the fence, whatever that side may be, gets the moral high ground early. And they came out the gate, right, with all these projections. Everybody's gonna die. It's gonna be the zombie apocalypse. That's what the projections came out saying. Exactly like that. It's gonna be The Last of Us, like the video game. It's gonna be Resident Evil in this bitch. That's what the projections were saying. And so people freaked out when, you know, progressives, y'all know they're not like emotionally stable, right? I don't know if y'all know this. Progressives got some daddy issues, and some of them got some mommy issues. A lot of them were kind of, you know, we were like a little on the outside of the popularity bubble when we were younger, okay? We were made up of all types of shapes, sizes, and backgrounds. And they got daddy issues. I don't know what else I would say that. Most progressives have daddy issues of some kind. So progressives ain't really good at handling strife and uncertainty. If they can't research it and be 100% certain about something, it freaks them the hell out. Okay? It does. It really, really does. Like the right is mostly content, right? I mean, yeah, they got daddy issues too, but it's a different type. You know, they got daddy issues. It's mostly the Candace Owens of the world. Like, she really got daddy issues. But like, they're all content because it is very easy and very streamlined. Hey, just celebrate the white male identity in everything you do and defend it with all your heart and soul. It's a pretty cut and dry outline. It's led to a lot of success for a lot of people. But when it comes to progressivism, we're like, progressives are just emotionally immature. They are. It's a fact. Now, somebody could argue that the right is experientially immature, 100%. And Democrats are just immature. They're stupid. But this is how progressivism gets just beat down every time, is that eventually our default is to yield to authoritarianism. I don't know if y'all realize that. And some people could say because it's a sentiment that is kind of ruminated from the Democratic Party, is reverberated through the progressive movement, because many of us left the Democratic, I was never in it, but many of us left the Democratic Party. And so that mindset, which is kind of like a survivalist mindset, that's based on a hierarchy, that mindset is carried on throughout so it's always like, that's why I get pissed whenever Bernie uses, you know, it was a lot different for me in 2016, but 2020 it didn't resonate the same. But when he would say it's not me, it's us, by the end of 2020 I couldn't believe him. But more importantly, people still were like, But you can't criticize Bernie. But you can't ask Bernie to be more than what he has been. But you can't call out Bernie for his racial apathy, to put it nicely. You're not allowed. Like, how dare Tulsi Gabbard run on a platform that is mostly what Bernie Sanders supports, and then she even builds upon that. How dare anyone else run and be inspired by Bernie while Bernie Sanders is in the race? How dare you? Like, that's the definition of us. The moment that Tulsi Gabbard stepped up, that should have been the moment. If it was really about us, that should have been the moment that Bernie Sanders put his entire apparatus behind her. But it wasn't about us. It was about him. And whenever we were like, y'all, if Bernie Sanders is justifying the DNC screwing over his friend who sacrificed her career for him, then it would behoove you to pay attention, because that likely means he's about to throw you and us under the bus for me, which would be him. And what happened? He threw us under the and progressives, for the most part, until he literally started attacking progressives for threatening not to vote Biden. Until that point, people were still defending him. I heard David Dole's dumbass was defending him, calling Joe Biden the next FDR the other day. Why? Because even though it looks a little bit differently, Bernie Sanders is the quote unquote authority. And then when progressives don't have a clear authority, they have no idea how to behave. They have no idea how to act. So when we're looking at COVID, they're reliant on their authority. Their authorities being progressives who are pushing a certain narrative without scrutinizing it, without pushing back on the lack of solutions that have been offered, without pushing back significantly enough on the amount of aid that has not been passed out to the public. But they're pushing a certain narrative, and progressives heavily rely on moral authority when their compass is kind of fuzzy or they feel like they can't get the right information. And so when you're looking at COVID, if your favorite politician is not getting it right, which the majority of them are not, whether it's purposely or accidentally, then if your favorite politician isn't getting it right, progressive politician, I mean, then the next person, the average progressive, also isn't going to get it right. Because there's just this weird paternal authoritarian nature of the progressive movement. They look for heroes. That moral high ground, sometimes looking like you are morally superior, sometimes supersedes actually being moral in the progressive movement at times. So I'm going to drink some orange juice now. You see any interesting question, baby? There should be nothing wrong with it. No. Oh, Robbie here too? What, did I miss a question?
He said, it's the age-old debate. How much freedom are you willing to concede for the sake of security?
Is that what Robbie said?
Yeah.
Man, let me get to that. Robbie, where you at? Where's that? I missed the question. Oh, there you go. What's up, Robbie? Make sure you go check out Robbie's new article, by the way. Sorry, I'm trying to drink my orange juice before my ice melts. It's the age. Robbie says the age-old debate. How much freedom are you willing to concede for the sake of security? Well, I'm a black man, so I get no freedom and no security. But I guess if you're asking me how much freedom am I willing to concede for the sake of security, basically none. Yeah, basically none. I mean, why the hell we throwing tea off of boats in Boston if we're going to concede freedom? Especially when most of the major issues in this world have been caused specifically so they can then take our security. Man, if y'all go watch that like 2-minute clip within Captain America Winter Soldier of Dr. Zola, Dr. Zola explaining what Hydra is. He's like, yeah, we infiltrated the government. because the world wouldn't hand over its security and freedoms unless it did so voluntarily. And whenever the political narrative wouldn't cooperate, we would make it cooperate. It's literally what happens. So I didn't kiss my ass. Anthony Garcia. Why do people entertain the distraction issues that manufacture and divide our country and ignore the real attacks on Americans? Ooh, man. That is a very, very loaded question, but I would try my best to answer it. Have you ever heard of the Hegelian dialectic? So the Hegelian dialectic is the idea that humanity can only think in the concept of A or B, or B or C, or C or D, but never, ever A, C, or D. That's what Hegel, believed. And let's be honest, it's not like it's not for good reason. But this psychology, right, this social psychology is founded in some pretty damn good science. And it actually is demonstrated every single day, right? Because like I said earlier, just regarding the issue of masks, because all I said was people are this whole idea of obsessing over masks, regardless of which party you're from, which political affiliation you align with. I just said, like, this is just weird, and people were trying to figure out, what do you mean? So you're pro mask or not pro mask? What is it? That had nothing to do with my statement. Well, no, but you got to be one or the other. Why? See, there's A and sometimes there's B, but in between A and B, there's this little thing we at the MCSC network like to call nuance. We like to observe the facts as they are, not as we wish them to be. And this is how, that's that little area that we like to call the gray area, in between black and white. Like when we discuss BLM, I tell people all the time, I am absolutely aware of how the Black Lives Matter movement at the national level has been co-opted. I am also not naive or stupid enough to believe that every local Black Lives Matter organization or the Black Lives Matter message itself, what it was originally meant to be, does not mean they are moving to the same beat as a national level. For example, let's look at our revolution. Our revolution at the national level, a lot of corruption. At the local levels, there can be corruption too. However, our revolution LA decided to do something different than our revolution at the national level, and our revolutions in other areas in the country. They decided to become Moving Forward People's Party affiliated. And they're going to be backing third-party candidates this election. So am I supposed to still attach them to the national whenever the national eventually works their ass off for Joe Biden and starts doing what corrupt organizations do? Because that's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, that's the pattern that we have seen with the Justice Democrats, brand new Congress. And Nina's no longer with our revolution. So I seriously doubt they're going to start getting better all of a sudden. But whenever you have one organization that can embody everything it's supposed to, while simultaneously the national level organization is doing not what it was told to do, not what it was paid to do by its constituents, but just doing what the hell it wants to do for the sake of money, that's what we call the gray area. But we are, as human beings, seemingly pre-programmed to think of things in A and B. Once again, it's called the Hegelian dialectic if you're not familiar with it. But we are forced to think of things in the context of A and B, and it might be somewhat for our sanity, because the idea of nuance can kind of be overwhelming to people. Like, honestly, if you really want to ask why people are just not doing their research, how do you even know where to start? I'm going to have a book that I'm probably going to team up with my people, with my MCSC team on, when it comes to just how to get started doing research. What points are you supposed to start from? Because we all have very similar, they're different methods based on what we're researching, but we have very similar ways of arriving to the same conclusions. And a lot of the times that allows us actually to find contributing factors that the other one wouldn't have found to get to that conclusion. So, but we simplified the idea of research, which is how we get things out so fast. You see, Robbie will get FEC information out before anybody else will. Pasta and Fiorella will get foreign policy information out and election fraud information out that nobody else will. You know, I'm always digging and finding like the most obscure, like interferon alpha 2B, right? The solution that Cuba has been using, where Cuba is now going to be able to declare that it defeated the COVID-19 virus, and yet we don't have. Why is my brother FaceTiming me? Hold up. Yo, so I'm in the middle of a live stream show right now, so. Oh man. Y'all see my brother? Y'all say what's up to my brother. But let me. What's up? You got it? You say who is? Okay, so if you're looking for a new suit for your job interview, my brother said Macy's is doing an 85% off flash sale on suits. My brother knows I like some fashion, so.
Look, all I'm saying is one suit on here that was it $425 went down to no, that's not the one. Let me see. There was one real good one on here. Yeah, $395. Now it's $79.99 full suit.
Okay. So if you're looking for, y'all know a lot of people out there looking for some new jobs. They got $79 suits in Macy's right now. Y'all know I don't really support Macy's, but I do support discounts because people is broke out here.
Hey, no problem.
All right, broski, I'm gonna hit you back after I get done.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
All right, broski. Oh man. Okay, so I hope I answered your question. Somebody said it's Pasta calling. It's funny, y'all must know, because Pasta does have a habit of always calling me literally during my live streams. So, Ruben, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Do you think people will go back to inactivity when sports comes back? Nah, not as long as there is a quarantine going on. I think the sports can really only make, because like, think about it. Sports was still here for a little bit. It all depends on what state you're in, I guess. But sports was still here for a little bit when COVID first started. But I saw more people kind of digging into politics than ever before whenever the quarantine first began and sports was still going on. And you could say maybe sports was part of it. Maybe they were worried about how it would be affected. But as long as the quarantine is still going on, as long as people are still broke, I think that people will continue to want to rebel and go outside. Because like in California, really, that's the only place you can. I mean, you can't really go. I mean, you're going to get like tear gas by the cops. But hell, the only time you can go hang out with people, it seems like in California nowadays, is when you're going to a protest together. Protests have become a social event. What can I say? I hope that will not be the case. Ultimately, the onus is on us, obviously, to continue to talk about these issues, continue to organize. But I do believe that there has been, there's kind of just been too much, man. Too much has happened for people to forget like it didn't happen, which it sucks. But hopefully people will pay attention long enough to make sure that we don't forget. Like, I don't want this situation to be like Ferguson. Think about what's happened with Ferguson. People think that these Gestapo tactics that are being used in Portland are new. Bro, they've been used in Ferguson. There's an article that just came out, I think. Let me see if I can find it. Ferguson. So this is an NBC. It says death of 6 men tied to Ferguson protests alarm activists. And this was in March of 2019. There was a woman that was murdered as well. This is not new. That's what's scary about all of this, is that when we covered Ferguson, we covered COVID. I mean, not COVID, excuse me. We covered Standing Rock. We covered Baltimore. But we were a small channel back then, so it's not like you would have saw it. But we covered this stuff And what we kept saying was, unfortunately, it's not getting enough coverage because it's under Obama. All of a sudden, all the actions that were happening in Ferguson were only attributed to the people of Missouri, to the leadership of Missouri. Because it couldn't possibly be Obama's fault. Obama would never. He would never do anything like that. He would never fund police officers. He would never militarize the police. He's black. He says some really cool stuff. Rappers like him. He would never. He cried. Remember he shed the tear? He was, oh, I'm so sad. He would never. Except for he did. And that's the one bright spot we have regarding Donald Trump. Is that he's not doing anything new. He's a little bit more loud about it, but that allows us to then hone in and address it. And now everybody wants to talk about it. So now everybody wants to go viral because they know it's a popular topic, because that's just the nature of our country. So now everybody wants to post videos of what's going on. So now the protests, instead of being locked in on one location, they're all over the nation. And now, because of the overactivity, right? These cops are not used to this. They're used to protests starting and stopping and it being contained, and they can just put out whatever narrative they want. They can't do that now, can they? Because Trump's in power, and Trump's an idiot. He just has diarrhea of the mouth. So, I hope now that we have seen that the mask, this mask has come off, and the ugly face that is U.S. authoritarianism is being seen by the world. I hope that we can't go back. But I do need my basketball. I'm gonna be honest with you. I need my basketball to keep myself sane, and I hope it's coming up soon. Marcus Will, did you read about the failed hit on the judge presiding over a case of Dutch Bank Epstein lawsuit? Son killed, husband in critical condition. I did read about it, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later, man. But that's crazy, dog. I was like, yo, it's like we're living in fucking Gotham City. This is insanity. What the hell? And people are just like, yeah, it's super casual about it. Yeah, we're literally seeing like, NCIS crime hits, looking like hits off of a Bad Boys movie. Like, that's the type of stuff we're seeing regarding this Epstein human trafficking stuff. And people just got to, once again, well, it depends who was involved, the Democrat or Republican. Very casual about it. All right. Who am I missing? Did I miss anybody? What else we got going on?
What's the wake and bake equivalent?
Huh?
What's the wake and bake equivalent?
What's the wake and bake include?
No, what's the wake and bake equivalent?
In Queba.
Equivalent.
What is the wake and bake equivalent of what? Where you reading that? What thing? Oh. What's the wake and bake equivalent of Mimosa Mondays? Marijuana Mondays. What you mean? Weeded Out Wednesdays. Get Fried Fridays. I got it for days. What you need? Oh, man.
Did you see the Sala Garvey versus Tommy Robertson about BLM yesterday?
No. Disney screwing workers colon. I'm guessing you mean Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick signs deal with them. I don't know what you're referring to. What deal? Marcus Will, thanks for the super chat. I'm told she's staying on the case, and I hope she's pissed. Man, if anything, like, because at that point they just killed my son. What's that? Now I don't give a damn if I'm alive or dead. I'm gonna make sure everybody goes to jail now. That's what I heard. But you know what that probably means? That means when they get to the discovery stage of that suit, which is probably where they're about to be, all of a sudden names are going to start dropping. We actually talked about that the other day when discussing this particular case. I said that the problem that I have with this, people kind of celebrating that, oh man, Deutsche Bank is being held accountable, which Deutsche Bank is always the only bank held accountable in a lot of these things, because it isn't really a US based bank. So there needs a scapegoat. But I said that the problem is, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but all these big entities tied to Epstein get caught out, but no names, except for Trump, of course, because that's what it's the media narrative. Basically, only Fox News and The Hill talked about Clinton being connected. But yeah, man. So with that particular case, Ghislaine Maxwell as well. Hell, even look at the Wayfair debacle that's been going on. If you think about it, names are oftentimes left off the rap sheet, unfortunately. That's the big problem. That's why the Epsteins of the world, this is Ghislaine Maxwell's, or Ghislaine, whatever the hell her name is, Ghislaine Maxwell's of the world. That's why they keep getting away with it. Because until you start putting names on the table, so that people are like, oh shit, my career might go in the toilet if this gets out, right? You'll never start seeing true accountability. Tony, watch closely, man. I would sure like to see you and Richard Mayhouse get together one day on the stream. Tony, me and Richie have done like 3 streams together, actually, on Rockfin, nonetheless. I think you were there at one of them. I'm pretty sure you were there at one of them. But nah, me and Richie do need to meet back up here pretty soon. We got some crazy panels coming up on our Rockfin premium streams. They're dope. I love them. He said Prince Andrew is the name they always use. That is so true. Because it was so for the US, if they use Prince Andrews, it's distant enough where what job does Prince Andrews really have? Like, what does he do? Does he actually have control over anything? His job is to be rich and shut the hell up. Like, isn't that what being royalty means nowadays? Isn't that why Prince Harry and Meghan left? Oh, and not be black. That's also the reason why Meghan and Prince Harry left. Oh, and not actually be a humanitarian, which is probably the reason that Prince Diana got assassinated. Anyway, yeah, but they use Prince Andrew because he's distant enough that it doesn't affect anybody here in the States. He's connected enough, or he's implicated enough in the crime where he won't snitch on anybody because he might not make it to see 86 or 87 or however hell old he is. He's old as hell. Like, the queen is his mom. It's the close to the situation. But if you say that you got Prince Harry, we're reporting on Prince Harry. Not Prince Harry. Oh, my bad, Prince Harry. Not you. I meant your uncle or cousin, whatever the hell he is. Prince Andrew. We're reporting on the powerful, we're calling out Prince Andrew. It's cool. So it makes them look like they're actually holding people accountable when they're not. Orange juice time. Am I still pro Bernie? Huh? Hold up. What was the question again? ¿Qué? Eu não falo inglês. What? Am I who? Let me make sure that I got the question correct again. Am I still pro what?
Oh my God. Move on.
Pro who? I'm just drinking orange juice, y'all. Why y'all asking me these crazy existential questions while I'm drinking orange juice? Ask me questions like that. This ain't no Ask Me Anything Mimosa Monday. Anyway, to continue on with our Ask Me Anything Mimosa Monday session. What question? S. Ra Garvey versus Tommy Robinson BLM discussion yesterday. It is more UK based, but still relevant to US policy. I have not actually seen that discussion. Niko, odds on you debating David Pakman. Come on, Glory. You know David is not stupid enough to sit across from the punk. You know, the first time that I critiqued David on Twitter, first time I can remember, I probably did at some other point. We got into a back and forth, and this man, or the person who produces his show, I should say, this man said, cause I said something about him being a white boy, because it was regarding race issues, and I was like, his dude said, David isn't white. David is Jewish and Hispanic from Argentina. Boy, if you don't get your white ass, this man David Pakman is blonde hair, blue eyes, and they talk about some David isn't white. Oh man. You said David don't call you, Niko don't call your wife an asshole. Be respectful. I'm respectful to my wife, but she an asshole sometimes. It's okay. It's okay. Y'all should hear some of the stuff she calls me. But I love my baby, so it's okay. Trust me, I can call my wife an asshole. I treat my wife better than like 98% of how men treat their wives. My wife is spoiled. Don't let her get it twisted with y'all. My wife is spoiled, but I'm spoiled too. I can't even lie, y'all. I can't even lie. Y'all see, she just went and got me some orange juice. Technically, David is Latino. He is from Argentina, apparently. He's also a Zionist. But Maddie, I'm sure my wife absolutely appreciates your support. She said, thank you, Maddie. It's okay, though. I can call my wife an asshole. Y'all can't call my wife an asshole, though. Y'all can't call my wife an asshole. Them be fighting words. Y'all don't gotta live with her every day, so y'all don't get to say that. Y'all wanna see my wife? This Maddie brought up? Come on, baby. Come on. Come here, baby. Come here. She ain't did her makeup, so she don't want to come in front of the camera. Unless she all done what? Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Come get in front of the camera. She gonna do all. See, now because she got a blade today. See, next time she gonna get up 2 hours early and hop in front of this camera with all her makeup on. That's what she gonna do.
That's not true.
That's exactly what she gonna do. Oh man. You said you'd rather me shut Tim Pool up. Man, Tim Pool, oh man. That boy is a grifter. He is damn near the same caliber of grifter as David Pakman is for the left. Because Tim Pool, like, he pretends that he's liberal. He's not really liberal, though. It's crazy how much money, like, white guys can make off of hypercritic. Like, they pretend as if, like, these super one-off situations are representative of the entire left. But if we did that to conservatives, then we would just be crazy liberals. But Tim Pool is wild. Nizar G, what's going on, my friend? I feel you about missing B-ball, but I grew up in Dallas as a Mavs fan. I've been disenfranchised as a Mark Cuban as an owner. What are your thoughts on Cuban? Cuban is interesting because as an owner, I feel like he's a player's owner. And like that one ring that he got with Dirk matters more to me than the 2 rings that LeBron got with the Heat. Because they're a medium market. Mavs have never been able to attract the superstar to come play along with another superstar, which the only superstar that I can remember in recent history other than Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete, is Dirk Nowitzki before they got Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. And but the reason that Porzingis one of the teams that Porzingis put on his list was the Mavs, was because of obviously Luka and the relationship they have from playing at some point together in the Spanish Premier League, in the Spanish League overseas, but also it was Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban has just, for his deficiencies as far as our disagreements on economics, he was also the first owner to, the moment that the pandemic hit and they went into quarantine, he was the first owner to promise that his people will be paid up in, I think, for at least 90 days while the government was trying to figure out how to divvy up checks. And then he was also the first NBA owner to come to the news and straight up say, this isn't going to cut it. We got to start giving people $2,000 a month UBI. Otherwise, then the economy is going to fail. And so he's an interesting guy. I can't say I agree with him all the time, but when it comes to how he treats his players, y'all remember he paid Dirk like a bunch of money, like at the end of Dirk's career, and it completely tanked the Mavs for like 3 years. And he didn't care. He's like, we got one ring from Dirk, and we got a lot of money off that man. So we want to make sure that other superstars know that if they come here, we're going to take care of them, and we're not going to forget what they've done. And so he set a good precedent there. And so I'm always, anybody who is pro player, because I am pro, I'm very pro labor, even in sports. And so, yeah. You missed the Dirk, Steve Nash days. I feel you, man. I missed the Dirk, Steve Nash days. Didn't Jason Kidd play there for a while too? Like, Dirk was just, he was too real, man. I think that Devin Harris was a better fit than the Steve Nash era, and the reason why was because in the Steve Nash era, there wasn't quite enough help for Steve Nash not to be more of a scorer. But with Devin Harris and the Jason Terrys, their primary function was not to facilitate, but to get the ball in the bucket, which took a lot of the pressure off of Dirk. And so it allowed him to kind of flourish more so because he could play off ball a little bit more. He could play on ball, and then you have off ball, because Dirk was a good facilitator. You could have those point guards play off ball, whereas Steve Nash, obviously, as we all know, in order for Steve Nash to be effective, he definitely has to have the ball in his hand. Anthony Valenti, thank you very much for the super chat. Glory, you said those 2 championships were some of the best years of our lives. You know what's funny about that, Glory? Those 2 Heat championships were actually some of the best years of my life. I can't even lie. I think I had just gotten out the military. I was partying a lot. We threw a lot of parties. I personally threw a lot of parties. We ended up actually in the newspaper for one of the parties that we threw. A lot of cops showed up. That was I think one of those years. When did I turn 22 or 23? That was 2012. That was LeBron's MVP year. And that was actually the first time I ever blacked out. Didn't even know it was possible for me to black out. But if you drink a half a bottle of Bacardi, I guess that'll happen to you. And I don't mean half a little bottle. I mean half of a half gallon. I don't drink Bacardi no more. Did y'all know that? I don't drink Bacardi no more. Adam L, thank you very much for the super chat. I am from Milwaukee, and we traded away Dirk for Robert Traylor, praying for better days with Giannis. Man, Giannis is my guy. You are so lucky to be in Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I have been preaching the gospel for Giannis since he first got drafted. I said the fact that this man got drafted while Jason Kidd is the coach means that he is about to be the best player in the NBA. I said that the moment he got drafted, y'all. The moment. And they asked me why. I said, because you can't tell me that a refugee who was basically forced to move to Greece, who literally got picked up from a damn, like, I mean, if you looked at the gym Giannis was playing in, bro. But when he found out that he was getting scouted, the man just busted his ass And then when you find out after he is drafted, you catch him running to the arena for his first game because he's sending all of his paychecks back to his family. I'm like, oh, not at 6'11". You tell, and then Jason Kidd was like, and we're gonna make him a point guard. I said, oh, that's it. It's over. Because I remember what Paul George was supposed to be. Paul George is underperformed. If you look at the what he could have been at 6'10". Anthony Davis was kind of pigeonholed because of his growth spurt and because the Pelicans needed a power forward. But the reason that I'm picking the Rockets, if Westbrook comes back healthy after COVID, I'm picking the Rockets to beat the Lakers if they go head to head in the playoffs, because you can't rely on AD to be a presence down low consistently enough. I mean, to take advantage of the small ball, you can't do it. That's why I think they split the games. But the second game where the Lakers beat the Rockets was by a very small margin. And it wasn't like they did anything significant. But when the Rockets beat the Lakers, AD got exposed, and so did LeBron, because the small ball was too much for them to keep up with, and they couldn't take advantage of it on the other end. And Rockets out rebounded them somehow. So, but with Giannis, his mindset is different. When you get a person like a Giannis who has like a Westbrook work ethic, a Westbrook kind of ferocity to his game, even though he's a really nice guy off the court. Whenever they were like, oh man, you're gonna go work out with all the other players and play, pick up ball. No, for what? I'm trying to beat them. I'm not about to go play with them. This man was roasting people when he was all. Remember, he said, man, I kind of want our team to be able to play some defense, so I can't pick Harden. And people forget he's African, so he don't know how to like mince words. They were like, oh man, he roasted Harden. Actually, he wasn't even roasting Harden. He was just straight talking. People from Africa don't know how to mince words. They don't know. They ain't no sweet talking and bullshit in any of the African languages apparently, or in Greek. So you just got a man whose mindset is different, and he gets better at something every year, and he's doing it for something bigger than himself. And when you have a combination of those things, and you're also 7 feet tall, bruh. And he just happened to be in a place where a lot of African refugees live. So yeah, I might be keeping him for a while just because of the comfort level he has there. Hey, Glory, I've been saying Giannis don't come to Miami too. I've been saying I think his girlfriend gonna convince him to come here. Ooh, can you imagine Giannis and Butler on the same oh, God. Hey, don't be surprised if Joel Embiid come to Miami too, y'all. Oh, Jesus. Where? What did I miss? No, I got all of them.
Oh, you just
Yeah.
down it right.
Thoughts on Chris Wallace's Trump interview? I didn't know there was a Chris Wallace Trump interview. Was it a good interview? I'm just going to ask you your thoughts on the Chris Wallace Trump interview, Marcus. Olajuwon's another one. Yeah, Holly. Olajuwon he's the same type of creed. Like Joel Embiid is different, right? Because Joel Embiid actually, for those of you who don't know, he seems kind of entitled to everything, right? He's not shy, and which is actually if you come accustomed to knowing African players have generally been shy because of their humble background. But Joel Embiid actually came from oil money. Joel Embiid has got whatever the hell he's wanted to his entire life, and the NBA wasn't going to be any different. And so that's why Joel Embiid is like that, but his entitlement comes at a price if you're the Philadelphia 76ers. All he had to do was eat healthy. He don't want to do the one thing he would need for his career to take off and for the Philadelphia 76ers to be what they could be. Because he's entitled. He expects the league to conform to his needs, not the other way around. But when you look at the Olajuwons or look at the Giannis's, oh, you know what? Pascal Siakam, Bam Adebayo. These people, like the Heat, are a legitimate, especially because of the what's going on right now. The Heat are a legitimate championship contender right now because of Bam Adebayo and of course Jimmy Butler. But because of his work ethic, because he went from being just strictly a defensive stopper to an all-star, people. Literally, an all-star. And then you have, once again, you have Giannis, who went from, can he even dribble? He can't even speak English, to two-time MVP, because he's going to get the MVP again this year. And he's going to get Defensive Player of the Year. And then you have Pascal Siakam, who went from being a G League player. G League! They said he wasn't even they said not only are you not good enough to be in the league, but you're not even good enough to be in the bench. So we got to send you to the Division 2. And he goes from Division 2 to perennial all-star to, oh, by the way, I don't care if Kawhi leaves, we're still going to be the third or fourth best team in the East. It doesn't matter. We don't even need Kawhi because I'm that guy now. And he's a very similar type of build to Giannis, where he's a power forward at 6'10", 6'11", but he can dribble, he can shoot, got a ratchet from three, and because he works hard, because he appreciates where he's at, because he's humble. That's one of the reasons why Toronto might keep Pascal Siakam, because he has no connection to the States, really. So they might even be able to keep him. But yeah, Olajuwon, Siakam, Giannis, those type of beginnings yield a different type of player. They're going to outwork you, and if you cannot just be more talented than any of these players. You have to be able to outwork them. That's the only way you're going to be able to beat them. So that's why I appreciate about the players from that background. I'm trying to see if Marcus. You said Chris Wallace stumped Trump. Chris Wallace from. Hold up. You're not talking about Chris Wallace from Fox News. No. Chris Wallace. Let me make sure I'm looking. You know all these white people on mainstream media. All they names sound like, I swear to God, it's 50 Chris's. He's from NBC, right? I know he's from Fox News. You talking about Fox News? Chris Wallace stomped out Trump? On what? I'm confused now. I really got to watch that interview. I am intrigued now. Oh man, Serge Ibaka. I love Serge. Bruh, Serge Ibaka's cooking show is hilarious. This man got a cooking show. He got a fashion show where he just roasts players because they can't dress as well as he does, and he then picks out an outfit for them. Serge Ibaka's dope. Love Serge. He's hilarious. You say Yao. Yao actually is a very good, like, he's probably going to be the best Chinese player never mind. That guy off of Washington is Japanese, isn't he? But yeah, he's probably going to be the best Chinese player we ever seen. Yao was so underrated, bro. I don't know why people say he didn't play defense. People forgot he used to give Shaq the business, but the injuries, bro, the injuries and a lack of medicine is, or lack of sports medicine that we had available, like the data that we have now about managing minutes and making sure, we rehab players correctly. Like, now the Rockets actually have one of the best staff in the league, and it's probably because of all the turmoil they went through with Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. Also, Adidas. Never, ever, ever wear Adidas to play basketball. Ever. Ever. Think about all the players that wear Adidas. Think about it. Oh man, I can't believe Fox News went in on Trump. Oh man, I gotta really watch that. Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna check that out after this is over. You say you never got good vibes from the chemistry between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Nah, I agree, Glory. I don't know how we always end up talking about sports whenever we do these, but by the way, if you like sports, check out my sports content on Rockfin. I have we do, like, it's called Flagrant 2. It's like a political sports show, so we talk about sports psychology and sports politics, and spoiler alert, we're very, very pro player, and we're like, fuck the organization, just like we are with politics. Fuck the establishment. That's how we feel. But we have some really fun conversations. you know, it's just, we take a lot of the analysis that you see me making in politics and I carry it over into the sports world. My best friend Dave is just a genius. He's the most fluid and like he just is like a damn fortune teller when it comes to like drafting and what teams are going to be built. He was actually saying that KD was going to go to the Warriors 2 years before it happened when like nobody believed him. It was crazy. So on Rockfin, on my actual Rockfin link that's in the description, you can go there and check out some of my sports content. We're also going to be creating a YouTube channel with the clips for those shows as well. So I'll let y'all know when that's up. Ruben Masagua, what's going on? If someone wants to organize locally, in what way should they approach it? That's an interesting question because it really depends on what you're organizing for. Are you organizing for a candidate? Are you organizing for an issue? Are you organizing for a nonprofit? Are you organizing a protest or a demonstration? What exactly are you organizing? And that will give me a little bit, a little bit more info so I can correctly address that. Because I've done maybe 3 of those, and it's different approaches. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve. Ms. RG said, I'm high as fuck. Wake and bake, my mans. My wife's about to join you. It's okay. It's legal. It's legal here. It's medicinal. Thank you, Glory. Glory DM'd us a link to the interview. Actually, let's see if we can pull that up. I'm going to see if we can pull it up for the stream. We'll see how it goes. Huh? Yes. No. Yeah. Also, don't type anything else in the thing. Well, because it's causing. Man, Trump stops interview. Oh Jesus. That's crazy. Yeah, we're gonna see if we can pull this up, man. Thanks, Marcus. I'm about to definitely use this for a show because I gotta do other stuff today, so I ain't gonna be able to do a lot. So I'm definitely gonna use this clip for my show. So I appreciate you. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right. I just put it in there, man. It's in the notes. You want to bring it up? You got to move that screen. No, you did it correctly. You need to go to configure. But everything is set up already. You just need to switch the screen out. You have your screen, and you have the wrong screen on the wrong side. I'm still teaching my wife how to be a producer, y'all. She learned, she kind of slow sometimes, so she be worrying me. Oh, babe, you're in the room still. Hey. See, she called me a dick, Maddie. Where's my defense?
What did you say before that?
Where's my defense?
You call me slow, so I'm gonna be extra slow now.
Glory marry Niko? No. Niko is married. No, Glory isn't my wife. What? Y'all done missed the whole conversation. Oh my Jesus. Why would Glory be giving me so much super chats? If she was my wife, that'd be kind of weird. Somebody said in sickness and hell. Go ahead. So we're gonna check out this interview. Apparently Trump stopped the interview. We definitely go check this out. Go ahead. Make sure did you make sure the sound's playing on it over there? Play it really quick to make sure the sound plays.
Because they wanted to fund the police and Biden wants to fund the funding. He does not.
No, it's playing on the TV. Can you make sure you hear it on there?
I mean, do you want me to turn that on?
You
Is
can,
that what
yeah,
you're saying?
send it over real quick. Real quick. All right, so we're gonna have to download it because it's not coming up on the sound isn't coming up over there. So we're gonna download it as an MP3. What?
I show you audio capture.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a different screen. That's fine.
a different screen. No, it shouldn't be on a different screen.
It's over here. Give me a second.
Hold up, y'all.
Everything's here. Are you just gonna copy and paste? Is that what you're doing?
It's just not picking up. Real quick. MP4. All right, y'all. I'm dedicated to this damn interview now. So I'm about to download this MP4 and give it to her.
Oh, it's because it was off.
No, it's not off. What are
I
you?
just turned off the audio was off.
Okay, try it real quick.
So let me try that. Let me make it.
Well, try it first. See, told you.
There you go.
No, that's me. It's not that. That side of the screen. Look at the other sound indicator.
Yes, right here.
Okay, it's not going up, so it's not playing anything.
And it's being slow now.
I got it. Don't even stress. Go to the other one. We're gonna download it. What? The computer's froze. It'll come back. Relax. All right.
Because they wanted to fund the police, and Biden wants.
Because they want to defund the police. They wanted to fund the police. Biden wants to defund the police. Trump is actually lying. If Biden wanted to defund the police, man, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be amazing? This man tried to get the police $300 million more. Go ahead and close that one. Close that one screen. The video should be downloaded. It's in the file. Yeah, y'all gonna get live reacts for this one. Cause Trump, boy, he been more full of shit than lately. Or than usual lately.
It's in the notes.
No, it wouldn't be in the excuse me. Where is it at? Oh damn it, I forgot that shit don't work on. Hold up. Gotta re-download it. Messed around and use Safari, y'all. Don't ever use Safari for literally anything important at all. If anybody has any questions for me for after this video, just drop a super chat. We'll get to it, don't worry. I'm literally trying to do this live, so.
Because they wanted to fund the police.
See, look how dedicated we are to making sure that Marcus Will gets his $2 worth of question. We're literally downloading the video on the fly here. You don't get your $2 worth, Marcus. We got you, bro. Thanks for being such a loyal follower. Okay. It is now in the correct file, so give it a second. Yes.
Where'd you save it?
The MCSC videos file. Actually. All right, people, we in there like swimwear. All right, so we're going to check out this clip from Trump and Chris Wallace, where apparently, according to one of our awesome super chatters, Trump got shut down by a Fox News host. Let's go ahead and check out the clip. Oh, just kidding. Now it's frozen.
Because they want to defund the police, and Biden wants to defund the police.
Sir, he does not.
Look, he signed a charter with Bernie Sanders.
It says nothing about defunding the
Oh,
police.
really? It says abolish. It says defund. Let's go.
All right. Well,
Get me the charter, please.
All right. So that led to a very interesting exchange where he had his staff go out and get the highlights from that 100-page compact that the Biden team and the Trump team, rather the Biden team and the Sanders team had signed. And he went through it and he found a lot of things that he objected to that Biden has agreed to, but he couldn't find any indication, because there isn't any, that Joe Biden has sought to defund and abolish the police.
Wow. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing as hell. Listen, y'all. Listen, you can go get the charter. You can go get the charter. He definitely wants to defund the police. Except for the $300 million he's like, we need to give the police. Like, he literally tweeted this out. You can go get the charter because he said, you know, he's working with Bernie Sanders and everybody who supports Bernie Sanders wants to defund the police. No, unfortunately, that is not the case. What I find interesting about this, though, is the fact that Fox News is actually challenging Donald Trump. They're calling him a liar and, dare I say, even defending Joseph R. Biden. That's really weird. I'm not going to lie to you. I said at the end of the day, the establishment will likely get behind Joe Biden, even on the conservative. You got to remember, the Lincoln Project is a bunch of anti-Trump conservatives. The Lincoln Project is full of Fox News sympathizers, the type of people that Fox News preaches to, the type of people that Fox News represents, which is a very specific brand of establishment conservatism. Establishment conservatism that is well represented in Joe Biden's actual policies, if you've done any research on them. So my thing with Trump is like the one good quality, the one useful quality, I should say, that he's shown us over the years is the ability to tell 50% of the truth. Whereas what the Democrats usually get 0% of the truth. But that 50% of the truth is usually about the Democrats. He's never really had to lie on Hillary Clinton. He's never really had to lie about election integrity, even. He's never really had to lie about Joe Biden. And it's been an effective strategy for him. The problem is that is where the buck stops. And if you do not continue using that strategy, you're going to lose if you're Donald Trump. You can't beat the Democrats by lying on the Democrats, because it makes you look scared. It makes you look like you don't have a good enough strategy or a good enough position on any given issue. In this particular case, it's regarding the defunding of the police departments. It makes it look like you actually are not on the right side of history, or that you're worried that they might be on the right side of history. But, or even scarier, right? You're worried that he might be on your side. So those conservatives that you've gotten just because they hate how left the Democrats have become may not go to you because they want somebody that they perceive to be safer and more politically correct. And let's be honest. Joe Biden is a conservative. That boy is a Ronald Reagan conservative. He is literally a pretty face who passes some racist policies. That is the definition of a Reagan conservative. But I also think that there is this problem that problem for them, And that is, y'all have to remember, the only way that conservatives has been able to get away with no, we're not racist, we're just about accountability. The only way they've been able to get away with what about black on black crime? We're concerned with all crime, by the way, because we always support the police. The only way they've been able to get away with the all lives matter. The only reason they've been able to get away with even the blue lives matter. The only way they've been able to get away with the patriotism, the false patriotism, and the imperialism is by saying everything except for the one or two racist statements that are off limits. Making every policy decision and wording it in such a way that it makes it look like we're doing this for altruistic reasons that does not take race or sex or gender into account. But actually, it definitely does, because we've made the policy very specific so that only these type of people are affected. Trump has taken the dog whistle out of the mouth of Republicans, and now they are now an open nerve, and it does not allow them to go about business as usual. And that, once again, kind of works to the benefit of the progressive movement. Just saying. If we're going to continue to if you're Trump and you're going to try and continue to be this basically hyper authoritarian pro police figure, then maybe you should at least try to tell the truth. You could have been like, even Joe Biden believes that we should continue to support the police departments. That's how right we are, my side. Like, that we are on the issue. That's how correct. That's how nonpartisan this issue. I don't believe this, obviously, but this would be what a good strategist would say. You can't attack Joe Biden on everything, dumbass. When he agrees with you, you can be like, and we've been on this side of the issue. Joe Biden is only saying that to pander to conservative voters. Look who he aligns himself with. The likes of people like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They're saying defund the police. We are saying continue to support our law enforcement. And even Joe Biden is on our side. That would be the way you crush Joe Biden. You bleeding idiot. Not by lying on his position and then getting corrected by Fox News. Man, listen. Y'all conservatives want to win an election, y'all better start hiring your boy. Cause y'all don't even be doing it right. Y'all don't even really know how to dog whistle. See, I'm a black man who was raised in the South and grew up around a bunch of libertarian debaters. I can dog whistle I can dog whistle like, boy, what? Candace Owens don't even know. I could be rich by now, man. I'm telling you. Y'all think Candace Owens? Y'all ain't seen nothing. Candace Owens is a moron. She ain't even doing this right. She ain't even doing the Uncle Tom thing correctly. Okay? She ain't even doing the Aunt Jemima thing correctly. I'm telling you, I got it. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you, I got one more question up there. DC, thoughts on Libertarian Socialist Caucus? Thoughts on Libertarian Socialist Caucus of the Libertarian Party. I didn't know they had a Libertarian Socialist Caucus. But I'm kind of not surprised by it. I took a test me and a bunch of Tulsi supporters took like that little test where you are on the barometer of political ideology. And I think literally all of us got Libertarian Socialist. I'm not joking. I think there was probably 10 people in that chat that took the test. And everybody got almost the exact same dot on the exact same point for Libertarian Socialists. So I guess I'm not all that surprised, because there was such a massive wing of the Libertarian voter bloc, that was very pro-Tulsi. And I would probably, even though she doesn't categorize herself as anything, as far as like philosophically where she falls on that diagram, she would probably fall within the Libertarian Socialist category. So I'm not surprised by it. I'm actually pleased by it more than anything else. And hopefully though, it actually yields some type of change, positive change within the Libertarian Party. I think that the Libertarian Party has basically just been a bunch of, it's kind of like the Green Party, right? Like the Green Party is a bunch of intellectual academics in a circle jerk. Even though, you know, no matter how many people may believe in it, you know, it's basically ran by old white men. Libertarian Party is very similar. It's academic circle jerk. Philosophical circle jerk, I mean. And it's still ran by a bunch of old white men. Yeah. I mean, Jo Jorgensen is a nominee, so that's good, I guess. But she is not a good candidate. She's better. At least she didn't cheat to get it, right? So I can say that. That's like the and that's a pretty huge thing to say in 2020. At least they didn't cheat to get the nomination. Right. At least she didn't cheat to get a nomination. So I can say that about the Libertarian Party. I know that there was a big scare, if you will, a big tussle about the whole Justin Amash thing, because he was going to come out of nowhere, but sway delegates. And that's, I mean, he's won office, and that's kind of like part of what comes with that type of prestige. I wouldn't call that cheating, although it's inconvenient, obviously. But hey, I would like to see some positive change within the Libertarian Party, but as far as I'm concerned, at the moment, they're still bought off by the Koch brothers, the same way that the Democratic Party is bought off by Soros and the Koch brothers, and the same way that the Green Party is bought off by stupidity, apparently. Yeah, so. And also, DC, yes, I supported Vermin Supreme too. I was definitely Vermin Supreme too. Although I can say, it was surprising, because I can't go into a bunch of details about it, but I do know that Justin Amash was actually willing to not take any corporate money, and even kind of look into changing some of his domestic policies if Tulsi was going to agree to be his VP, because it was up in the air. And so that made me a little bit more, you know, I'm not really like an absolutist when it comes to that type of stuff. I go by a very simple formula. I do believe in people's ability to change, but I'm also a pragmatist. And if I know what it means if Tulsi would have been vice president, right? Obviously, we know what it means if she would have been president, but I do know that Tulsi is VP means that she is a guarantee, like she's a shoo-in for president whenever she runs again. And we know how she is when it comes to policy. That's why I think she's getting out of the federal government at the moment, because she can't do enough. And she's not going to just, that's just not how she's not going to, if she can control the outcome of something, she will. That's just how she is. If she cannot control the outcome of something, it makes her kind of uncomfortable, because she knows what should be done. And then she's put in a precarious predicament where she has to either, you know, basically stand on her principles, or, you know, strategize on what's the best way to approach it, et cetera, et cetera. And so, if she was with Justin Amash, then she would be a very, very powerful figure within that administration. So that would have been nice to see. But I do think that she's going to end up running for governor too. So. Put Tulsi Spawn in Bernie's back, and that'd be my candidate. Or put Tulsi Spawn in Tulsi's back, because it's already there, and she's not 80. Or a white guy who's against reparations because he just thinks he has better policies. So there's that. I mean, you could put Tulsi Spawn in Bernie's back, but that doesn't mean you want to put Tulsi's brain or life experiences or individualism. Like, there's a bunch. It's more than just having a spine. Bernie thinks that he has a spine. That's what's hilarious about the whole thing. He actually thinks that he's like standing up. I'm doing exactly what everybody wants me to do. I'm standing up by doing literally what everybody tells me to do. I heard Gloria La Riva is actually a really good candidate. I'll look more into her. You said Marianne was too scary. She reminded me too much of the woman with the teacup on Get Out. Tulsi. You messed up for that. I like Marianne Williamson, man. Marianne Williamson is interesting because she's been proven to evolve once she actually gets new facts. That's something I value, because a lot of people are too prideful to do that. So although she does have a lot of shortcomings as a presidential candidate, I would like to see her in an administration at some point. Thoughts on Vaush calling Kyle, Jimmy, and Glenn Greenwald a class reductionist? I'm assuming he is calling them out on what he perceives to be their racial apathy. Is that what he's talking about when he calls them class reductionists? I know what a reductionist is in general, but I'm assuming that's what he means. Yeah, DC Vaush is definitely a psyop. I mean, the dude is weird. Somebody asked me like, "Oh man, can you debate him?" And I was like, "I guess, whatever." Like, and I looked at a couple of his videos. I'm like, "Oh, this dude is off of his damn rocker. He's crazy. He is crazy. Imagine David Pakman, but crazy. That's basically what Vaush is. He's David Pakman, but crazy. Vaush is the embodiment of what I hate about white knights and white saviorism. He just loves all the attention he gets from being on the right side of the conversation, which is always coincidentally the most popular side of the conversation on the left. But honestly, Vaush would get by any of them. So I know that Jimmy for a fact. I can't talk about Glenn and Kyle is a different situation, but with Jimmy, I'm not that Kyle is a class reductionist, but it's more nuanced than that. But Jimmy, I know for a fact, has talked about race and economics and the disenfranchisement of black people specifically. Helped bring attention to things like, for example, whenever everyone was co-opting the DNC fraud lawsuit that I started, it was Jimmy who had, the TYT knew about it, obviously. There's a whole thing about it. Jordan Sheridan knew about it. A lot of other outlets knew about it, like big outlets, and they would cover it. And then whenever people were recommending, even Jared and Liz were like, "You need to have Niko on to discuss this." They were the lawyers who also helped me start it. Nobody else did it. Jimmy was the one who personally called me when he found out that I was the one who started it, because he was like, "I don't even understand how I didn't know that, because I've known about the lawsuit." I was like, "Yeah, that's the thing. I'm purposely erased from the lawsuit, even though I'm in the damn book." I'm literally in Jared's book, and there's a whole paragraph or a whole section. And Jimmy was like, "Hey man, let's get you some coverage." And for black people, one of the ways that black people and people of color in general, and I would say even women too, our stories, the credit, all that stuff gets taken from us. And one of the ways that anybody who has that type of space, right, and Jimmy has one of the larger audiences in the progressive movement, you kind of have a responsibility to make sure that credit is given where credit is due, because that helps to ensure that other people then follow this particular person, whatever it may be, and whoever may be saying it. Whenever we're covering that subject, there are certain people who are just really good authorities on very specific issues. It just so happens to be that when it comes to election integrity, the network that is owned by, myself, and at the highest levels, it is ran by majority people of color. We happen to be the ones that are best on election integrity. One of the reasons why is because of who election integrity primarily affects. I don't know if y'all know this, but it's people of color. It's black people, largely. It's Latinos. And so because we see it through a different lens, we talk about election integrity, by the way, through a different lens than everybody else. And so it would give people a better perspective, and yet we see credit taken away from people of color all the time. And Jimmy's one of the few people that ensure that credit has always been given where credit is due when it comes to people of color and black people. And so I will always have an immense amount of respect for him for that. I would say Kyle is interesting because he does tend to demonstrate some racial apathy at times, but I also know, like, Kyle, whenever I first met him, was like, dude, we got to sit down and do a show together. Like, he was all about helping to amplify me. He plugged me into some back channels. He even, like, me and Kyle are friends now, but when we were just acquaintances and we were kind of getting he was the first one to reach out to me. And so that's, believe it or not, a rare thing in the progressive movement when it comes to this particular space. The white progressive superstars do not like black progressives who are not named Ben Dixon. In other words, you got to be MSNBC friendly. You got to be narrative friendly. They got to know that you're going to be willing to sell out the moment that the time comes for it. They don't like progressives who think for themselves. They don't like progressives who do not toe a very specific line. And they damn sure don't like black progressives who are brave enough to say something like, I know it's crazy, I know it's bold, but Bernie isn't always right and we should hold him accountable. They don't like shit like that. So Kyle does have a level of privilege that he speaks from, but he's admitted that, though. He admits it. So what's my beef with Jordan Sheridan? Ooh, that's a conversation for a different day, my friend. But let's just say that Jordan and I have differences that are of a personal and professional nature. Let's just say that. A lot of differences. Mostly personal. A lot of professional, though. It started professionally. And then he lied on me, and then, he's not really, I don't want to say he's, it's a different conversation for a different day. Let's just leave it at that. But like I said, let's just go with the primary reason that me and Jordan have problems in all seriousness goes back to the accountability and credit. When credit is not given where credit is due, whenever people take your stories, there are long-lasting impacts. The Hillary Victory Fund was a story that I broke. Jordan Sheridan took credit for it. WikiLeaks, Jordan broke the story, but it's because he had someone else feeding him all the information, another journalist that he refused to credit. A lot of people don't know about that. And Jordan is definitely not the only one who's been guilty of this, but at very pivotal points in my personal professional career, Jordan has been the one most guilty of this for me. And so that's a lot of where it originally stemmed from. And when people take credit for, and I don't really care about the credit as much, but I began to notice over time, because I was like, oh, as long as the story gets out, right? But I didn't notice that this was actually a problem within journalism, where people where they have their people of color, I should say, and where white men specifically will get credit for something, and then they're like, oh man, they're a hero for what? You know what I'm saying? So that's where that is. Yeah, I don't delete videos, so all the Jordan Sheridan stuff, if you want to go look at the old videos, they're up there. Ben Riley, I hear you. It was just frustrating. I think Peter Coffin was mentioned too. Do you think Bernie's mental health was damaged in 2016? I think he blames himself. So I actually talked about this before, where I think that Bernie was actually basically a victim of emotional abuse. He actually displayed all the symptoms of an abused person, and that's basically how the Democrats have been treating him. So I do believe that his mental health was somewhat damaged in 2016, but I believe he's been a victim of that type of abuse from the Democratic Party basically since he's been a de facto member. I don't know if he actually blames himself for Trump though, because I'm gonna be frank with you. Bernie also has an ego, and Bernie basically doesn't blame himself for shit. That's one of the biggest problems with Bernie. He will want to point fingers at a lot of people, and he might sound like he's holding himself accountable on the camera sometimes, but he still doesn't really hold himself accountable to the degree that he needs to. Marcus Will, keep up the great work. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much. Yeah, Ben. Yeah, it is a toxic relationship. Go look up. I mean, even during the election, you look at the Warren situation. That's literally what it was. They in the Democratic Party, what do they do? Like, what does an abuser do when they get you in their clutches? They make you get rid of all your friends that would let you know that you're being abused. They tried to keep Nina. No, they did successfully keep Nina from speaking at the convention in 2016 and endorsing him. They demonized Tulsi Gabbard to the degree that Bernie didn't even want to be, mentioned in the same breath as her. And who would be the one who would be brave enough to speak up about the Democratic Party mistreating him? Who was the one? Let's be clear. Who was the one that gave up her position to do? It was Tulsi. The quote unquote, as far as politics is concerned, that was his best friend, her and Nina. And they made sure that to a degree they were kept out of the picture. That's what an abuser does. And then they push the friends on you, their friends, the ones that are going to protect their abusive nature. They push the Elizabeth Warrens on you. And then they join in on the emotional abuse. Right? That's what happened. Yeah, that's my friend. That's my friend. That's my friend. Oh, I endorse Hillary Clinton. Yeah, that's my friend. That's my friend. Oh, man, Bernie, he said a woman couldn't even beat Trump, if I'm being honest. He's a liar. He's a liar if he says otherwise. And then, what does she do? Like a true abuser, turns around and gaslights him and says, well, Bernie, if you apologize, we can make up for this. We can make up, it's fine. Made him feel like he was the one who should have apologized when everybody knows that she was the one who was lying. She tried to destroy that man's entire legacy to win. Then stole a lot of his votes in addition to the other election fraud that took place. And then pretended to be the victim. Isn't that what abusers do? The Democratic Party has specialized in emotional abuse. This is not like a new concept. Bernie would not be the first victim. He damn sure is going to be the last victim. So, this is the last super chat I'm answering, and then I got to get up out of here. I got another show to do. Anthony, thank you very much. If Nina Turner doesn't leave the Democratic Party, I don't know, man. She's been announcing support for the moving for the People's Party for quite some time now. So, I mean, she's been pro third party, by the way. She was only in the Democratic Party to vote for Bernie. She's been very, very anti-Democratic Party and very, very pro third party. And I would say that she's been more pro third party than Nina or than Tulsi has. That's one of the the pros over Tulsi that Nina has at the moment. Even though Tulsi has been pro third party, Nina has been like, nah, let's go to third parties right now, like yesterday, and has been bold about saying this in her podcast, on Twitter, and in mainstream media interviews. So, with that being said, let me get up out of here, people. I appreciate all the questions. We had a fantastic time. As usual, my orange juice is depleted, so it's time to go. I know, sad day. But it was fun, as usual. Like I said, go follow us on Rockfin, ROKFIN.com. As you all can see, we are also now contributors to The Independent. Not the UK's Independent, but I'll put the link. There you go. It's the independent.io. I think our hyperlink is actually the independent.io/MCSU network, so you can get all of our stuff. The independent.io/MCSU network. Yeah, that's ours. So I gave y'all both of the links. And actually, the editor-in-chief of that particular publication is formerly of, what's that really good? Not Mint Press. Was it Mint Press? No, it was another one. Oh, AltNet. He used to work with AltNet. So, what is the name of Niko? Oh, you can just go to rockfin.com/Niko. My YouTube channel for the sports coverage will be on, we're going to create that this week. But it'll only be the clips of the coverage that we do for Rockfin. It won't be the full videos. The full videos are exclusive for Rockfin at the moment. We'll also be covering NFL on that channel as well. Or excuse me, on the YouTube channel. We're creating a different channel for NFL coverage too. If you are interested in NFL coverage, where we will be having I don't know if y'all got any Madden players here, but one of the guys that we have coming on is like super regarded within the football community, but it's because he's like an all-American Madden player. Like, dude is crazy. It's one of my childhood friends. He's going to be on there. My best friend Dave, he's going to be on there, and we're going to be doing some great stuff. I honestly, it's kind of like a relief because politics is stressful, y'all. It's stressful. I needed something to keep me sane, and being able to hang out with my friends and talk sports, because we still talk politics when we talk sports. It's just politics that they understand. So it's a relief, and we have a great time, but it's still a really profound analysis, and it's very anti-establishment, just like our political coverage. All right. Other than that, people, thank you all so very, very much for tuning in, and always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. If you like that segment of Mikasa and Sukasa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockfin Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.